Hey guys, welcome to CreativeLive's Creative Photography Challenge. I'm Justin Katz, we're here at the top of the Marin Headlands, and today we're shooting a panorama. I personally love shooting panoramas. I think it's a really creative way to display a landscape. The act of taking multiple exposures really ensures that your final image will be very high quality. For this challenge, you're gonna need a camera, a lens with a long focal length, preferably, a tripod, ideally with a rotating ball head. For this shot, the first thing I'm gonna do is try and pre-visualize the panorama that I wanna take. Basically capture Alcatraz on the left, and I'm gonna get it all the way, possibly all the way to Sutro Tower on the right. To do this, I'm gonna turn my camera to the vertical position. Another good tip is to zoom out a little bit past where you would envision the end result being. The reason you zoom out is to account for any possible alignment issues that you may have in your finished product. To learn how to do these kind of shots in much better detail, be sure and check out CreativeLive's Panorama course with Mike Hagan. To really do this, you need to shoot entirely in manual. The reason is, as you adjust throughout the scene, you don't want the camera to compensate differently based on the lighting situation in each shot. You need to keep a consistent exposure throughout each individual frame. For my camera settings, today I'm shooting at aperture 16, shutter speed of 125, and ISO of 80. I'm choosing to prioritize aperture here just to see if I can get as much depth of field as possible, and everything else I'm just going to adjust according to the light. You're also going to be entirely in manual focus because you don't want to be having your camera adjust autofocus depending on where you're shooting. You need to have consistency. In terms of how I want to take the shot, it doesn't really matter, but personally I love to shoot from left to right. That way they align perfectly with how you're going to view them in Lightroom or whatever post-processing software you're using. Another key element here is you're going to want to overlap by a third in each frame, like that. Essentially, that gives the post-processing software enough pixels that they can really try and match it up, so you're gonna get one complete image. Something I've learned the hard way is you really don't want to take too much time between each exposure, because especially if you have things like clouds, over time those clouds may move, and then your software's gonna have a really hard time matching up those pixels. So try and do them as quickly as you can in succession. All right, let's go merge them in post-processing. All right, guys, here we are back in studio. We got our 6 individual raw files from our panorama shot. I'm just going to grab them all and open them up in Lightroom. So first thing you'll notice is that I have them in order. You can see panning through. So I'm going to select all 6, right-click, photo merge, panorama. I choose to leave auto crop off because I like to see where I made mistakes in the shooting, and then I can also kind of adjust accordingly. Okay, preview looks pretty good. We're gonna merge. We got our finished file right here. As you can see, I wasn't perfect in my frames, but that's okay because I left enough buffer space. So I'm just gonna crop it down to a place that I want. Basically, I just upped the shadows. I'm going to down the highlights a tiny bit, added a graduated neutral density filter, adjusted my whites and my blacks just a tiny bit, and I warmed up the whole image. So yeah, what you're left with is a final image that is still a raw file, and you can edit to your heart's content. Really, this is just a starting point, but here's your final panoramic image. We're really excited to see what you guys come up with for this one. So upload your stuff to Instagram, use the hashtag #CreativePhotoChallenge, and we'll select some of our favorites and display them every week. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure and go to creativelive.com/CPC and sign up to receive challenges like these in your inbox weekly.